You guys know I'm known as like the Vegapunk guy, big brain of the One Piece community. That's what I like to say I am. Am I correct? Probably not. But I do love Vegapunk at the end of the day. So we're gonna do another Vegapunk video here for you guys using 8-drop Eustace Captain Kid in the deck profile and running an aggro strategy. So let me know your thoughts on the deck list down below. Let's get into the deck profile. Here's my build for EB02. We're actually gonna up this Vegapunk by 1. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. We actually don't run that many 2Ks, so we'll probably drop one of those because who cares about a 2K counter, am I right? We'll probably drop down a Frankie to play another Vegapunk just for fun today. I think we're gonna have a fun video. It's not gonna be a super like competitive video or anything like that. We're gonna have some fun and we're still gonna win. Don't get me wrong, we're still gonna win. If you don't know what Vegapunk does, activate main once per turn, tap 1 Dawn, place up to 1 cost 5 or lower egghead type character into play or at the top of your life face up. So we have a lot of amazing options in the deck that we've already utilized. So if you need to see all of these cards, you need to go check out the deck profile from before, from our last video with Vegapunk. Now, today, instead of playing our usual build where we play nothing but aggro strategy, we're actually utilizing the 8-drop Eustace Captain Kid. You may rest this card, or this character, trash one of your opponents to the top of your opponent's life, so that's an on play. And at the end of your turn, if your opponent has 2 or less life, draw 1, trash 1. So it's really good, especially if you have this Bonnie on board. It gives Bonnie effect for free. If your opponent loses a life, draw 2 and trash 1 from your hand, allowing us to filter the hand already, and then getting the Kid effect at the end. We have 5-drop Ace. Now, some people have said play 3-drop Zoro instead. The issue with 3-drop Zoro is if you're an aggro deck list, you want to force your opponent down to lower life. And these rush units are there to end the game. They're not there for the early game to kind of get in. And I was a big advocate for the 3-cost Zoro. I'll pull it up real quick just so you know what we're talking about here. It's this 3-cost rush Zoro right here that says if the total of life is fewer than your opponent's, this card gains rush. And then you may trash 1 card from your hand. If you're leader of Supernova, which we are not, play this card. So the trigger doesn't really matter, but it does give you a searchable rush option out of Dorishishi. But the issue is we're not trying to rush in early. That's not the goal of the deck. It's to just get a wide board and swing in pretty heavy. So it just doesn't really work because we want to get our opponent down quickly and kind of close the game out. And then in situations where we need to gain life and, you know, prolong the game, we can, but then we're prolonging the game and adding to our life. So the Zoro doesn't utilize as much of its ability in those situations. Now the 5-drop Ace, you just have to have 2 or less life. So this brings a lot more skill intensive issues with Zoro versus Ace, because I think Ace is just a lot better saying you just have to have 2 or less life. So I can play it on Ace for 5, swing in and still tap 1 Dawn and gain to a 3rd life at the end of it. And I can do the same thing for Zoro, but if my opponent already has, you know, more life than me or something like that, or has less life than me, Zoro's just a dead card in hand, while Ace always has the opportunity to have rush. So I was an advocate for Zoro when this first came out. I played it in my original deck profiles and I realized Ace is just better. So people who comment that, I do understand your side of it. Just understand that's my side of Ace. So the usual deck list is the same. The Vegapunk is the new EB02 Vegapunk. We'll go over this one just because it's newer. Blocker, on play, look at the top 5 cards, play 1 side-to-side character other than Vegapunk, and then place the rest at the bottom of the deck in any order. If your opponent has 2 or less characters, discard 1 card. So we're going to be able to cheat out Atlas, Edison, Shaka, Lilith, and then that's going to be it. But there's a ton of strong options just in those characters alone. I'm super excited to play this deck today because, you know, I'm a Vegapunk fiend. So we're going to play Vegapunk again for this week, and we'll probably play it next week and probably the week after. So let's get to the games and play some games, and let's play some games. Here's another leader who gets a ton of support in the matchup in the EB02 format. They choose for us to go second, so we will keep this hand because we do have Dorishishi and we do have Jewelry Bonnie. We can cheat out a target very early, so we're going to tap 1, deploy a card, and we're going to deploy Shaka here and just pass to our opponent's turn. We don't have anything for the 1 Dawn. Sometimes you can have the Rayquaza help. We don't at the moment. They're going to swing in for 7 aggressively, cheating out a body. It's going to be Basil Hawkins. We're going to take and then use the trigger to draw 2 and trash 2. We're going to trash the Eustace Captain Kid because it's not going to do much in this matchup. And then we're not going to be able to Bonnie next turn. I mean, we could, but I think I'd rather not. Our opponent doesn't have 2 or more characters right now, so I don't think 2 of the Vegapunks are going to be very important at the moment. Now we're going to sit here on 3. Now we're cooking. We're going to swing in for 5 at our opponent here. They should probably take this, trying to chase a trigger, and I'm expecting that's what they do. What we're going to do here is tap 3 for Lilith, because we can actually search the top of our deck and grab a character. We're going to choose to grab a Atlas here, just so it doesn't have the ability to be KO'd. And then we're going to add 1 card to the top of our life, because our opponent's probably going to swing in at our face. They could also go for our board here. I don't think we're too worried if they do go for board. We could also just put Vegapunk on the board and discard a card and just say, oh well. I think our best option is possibly discarding a card, putting another blocker on the board, and then saving this Edison to put some aggression on, or having them swing in at our life. I think we're going to go deploying Vegapunk, and this may seem crazy, but you'll see where we're going. We do get the Lilith, we put the Rayquaza at the top, and then we have to discard a card where we will discard Durishishi, and then look at the top 5 cards and grab a 2K counter. Actually, we're going to go with some kind of removal would be good. Just for this matchup, we don't really need the 2K at this moment. We still have a blocker. We have 2 blockers on the board, and then we'll just pass. So this is going to force our opponent to a more aggressive position where they want to swing face and try to maybe get rid of our Vegapunk if possible, or Shaka. So they're going to tap 3 here for Arlong, stop Shaka from being able to block, give a rested Dawn to their leader. They're going to swing in for 7. So it looks like they're just going to go 7 and 7. We're actually going to take this first swing because we want to get rid of the Basil Hawkins trash ability. That's kind of our goal here, and you'll see how we utilize that in just a moment. So we're going to choose no trigger because we don't need to, and then we're going to use this Vegapunk to block out of this swing very safely, and then you'll see what we're trying to utilize here. So what we're going to do is tap 5 here for the Luffy, right? And then we're going to use this ability to trash itself and KO the active Hawkins. They don't have a life to trash at the moment, so that puts us in a very safe spot. Now we're going to swing 5 into Hawkins. We're really just trying to remove this body off the board. If we can't, that is okay, because we can easily add a life to the top of our pool here, but we're trying to take every card out of their hand. This is going to be a very long game, and now we just choose not to swing because we don't want them to get some kind of trigger. I guess we could technically because we're gaining a life, so we're going to go 5 in a face here. As long as you don't get something to remove Shaka, we're kind of chilling. If they get some kind of trigger, we're good. Okay, so then we add to the top of our life. We're going to add Rayquaza to the top so we can play out the Vegapunk. So that's going to be kind of our objective here. So our opponent's in a very bad spot. They could 7-drop Hody Jones, but even then, we're still very safe. They swing for a lot at us. They play Arlong. Arlong has no effect because they can't really stop our leader from attacking because our leader can't attack. And then we can choose to take this. We can also choose to counter out. They have 4 more, so I think we're going to take this, use the trigger, and play out the Luffy so that we can clear up this board a little more. We already have a Shaka in hand, so we're pretty safe here to clear out their bigger body so we can swing in for 6 to start. And this is going to show you the very aggressive position that we're in to not really worry about it, even though we're at such a low life total. We were going to KO the Arlong, now we cannot do that. So we need to switch up our plans here to probably double blocker up. So put a blocker on the board and tap 1, add an additional blocker. So we're just going to swing in for 5 at our opponent. They got an amazing trigger off the top. Not too much we can do about that. They should take this additional 5 here or possibly counter out. We're going to go 6 into face. We're going into a position where we just can't die. That is the biggest goal. They get the Charlotte Brûlée. That's going to be okay with us. Now we have 6 Dawn left. We can tap 5 to play out a Shaka. We didn't really utilize the Bonnie in this kind of matchup. So now we're going to do this. We're going to add a card to the top. We're going to add a Shaka to the top, and then just pass to our opponent's turn. So now they have to choose between getting rid of the board or going into face. We still have a ton of counter because we're sitting on a solid 2, 4, 5, 6, 7K counter, so we should be very safe to take. We'll go ahead and block out of this just in case they have some kind of Hody Jones. It's just better that way because they do have 7 Dawn active. So they go in for another 7 here. We can actually take, because they don't have a way to stop both of our blockers, and we're still safe to counter out pretty aggressively. They only have 3 cards in hand. They need to get the game here or they just lose. So now they can see they're in a position where there's no way to win if you can't rest both of these, and even if they could, we'd still be safe. So we just block out of 1 of these. They swing in for another 8 more than likely, or possibly cheat out a blocker, and even if they do, we're still very safe. So we just give them 2 2Ks from hand into the 8, and literally it's just GG's from here. So swing in for 7 at our opponent. We're going to go 7 more. We're just going 7s across the board. It's guaranteed lethal. They only had 4K counter, so they counter out of this one, block out of this 7, and then they have to take any other swings we go at them. So GG's to the Arlong. That's how you shut down an aggro matchup, and that was the perfect play. So I hope you guys can see this is the big brain boy right here. This is the big brain. Robert Lucci, you know, my least favorite leader in the whole card game. We're going to go first in this matchup, and all right, we're going to keep this hand. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. We're literally just going to tap 1, deploy a card, and we're going to deploy Lilith because we don't need to put out Luffy for it to be KO'd in the next turn. And we're going to search the top of the deck, and we're going to grab a freaking Vegapunk. The Vegapunk's going to be a good option here for later, but not right now. We're going to be going into 3 Dawn with nothing left to do. I feel like we should have found a stage there. That would have been very nice, but we haven't found a stage this whole game. So our goal here is to tap 1, find a stage. Ooh, One-Legged Soldier. I don't personally care for that. We could tap 1 and then play out Bonnie and then put 1 Dawn on Bonnie and then swing in for 6 and really filter the hand. That's going to be the best option, I think, at the moment. We're definitely going to deploy a card. And I think we are going to go for the Bonnie. Just because this is going to force our opponent to kind of counter out and kind of take away our filter options. So they should counter here. If they take, I think that's a little incorrect just because of the Bonnie. The strength of this card is just, it's so good. So we also don't have a ton of counter. Our opponent's kind of not really spamming the board enough for us to use Vegapunk just yet. I'm assuming they counter. Yep, they give us a 2k counter and we pass. That's why the Lilith was probably the best option, but we're also gambling on finding the stage or not, so it is what it is. It is what it is. They could tap swing 6 into this. We'll have to let it go because we don't have a 2k counter, which we could have searched up earlier. We could have searched a 2k counter instead of Vegapunk, but hey, who cares? But then they just pop the one-legged soldier, give -3 to Bonnie, and then swing in. They swing 5 at us, so they must have a way to KO both these characters. It looks like they have a Rob Lucci in hand, because then they pop the one-legged soldier, make this -3, play out Rob Lucci, and then just return these 3 cards back to the trash. We're going to take aggressively. We could do this to make sure they can't KO both of our characters, but then we lose a lot of hand size. We ballin'. We ballin'. Oh well, we're going to see what happens with that one. This is going to help with our Nami next turn to actually have some filter from playing it out. So we're going to tap 1 for Nami, discard Luffy, KO Lucci, and then tap 3 for Lilith, and then put 1 down on Bonnie, and then swing in. And unless they get rid of our Bonnie, then we're going to swing in for 6 with Lilith, tap 3 for Lilith. Yep, they did have the Robert Lucci, so we got rid of them KOing both of our board. So I guess it's like losing a card in hand instead of board. So we still have a swing in, which is good. Not the worst thing. They're also losing all their trash that they have at the moment because this does return 3 cards from the trash to the bottom of the deck in any order to KO with 2 costs and 1 cost. So they should have just misplayed. Honestly, that's all they did. They only have 1 card in trash now, so that's okay with us. Then we're going to swing in for 6. Same old usual stuff. We don't have the draw 2 trash 2 here. Now we're going to tap 3 for, I just don't know if we Nami first or Lilith first. I think we should deploy a card, Nami, discard Edison to KO Lucci and draw a card. And then we'll tap 3 for Lilith to draw another card. And I think it's going to be, Shaka would be very good just for later, but I think Nami's always going to be good just for some removal. We'll throw Shaka to the top just in case, and then we'll just pass our turn. We have a cat all up in the business. What's up, buddy? What's up? It's a cat break time with Vegapunk. Hi, buddy. Oh, you're getting so mean and aggressive. You don't like when I pet you? Oh my gosh, he's biting me, guys. He is literally biting me, and we just down on the ground and then try to make sure he doesn't bite us again, because he will. That's what he's known for. He's a bad cat. He is a very bad cat. Now we have a very wide board against Lucci, which is really good. Hoping they don't have another Lucci sometime soon, but they need to swing a leader first. All that jazz. They play out Kuzan instead. We can use Monkey D. Luffy to remove Kuzan. We could also just go Nami to remove Kuzan. We're really just trying to control the board and mitigate our opponent's abilities here. They're going to swing 7 into Lilith. We're going to let that go very easily. No reason to counter out of that swing. We do get Rayquaza help here, so we could go 5, KO, filter, and then decide from there. I think that's exactly what we're going to do. So 5, discard Atlas, KO Kuzan, and decide from there. So we're just going to swing in for 5 at our opponent, and then 6 at our opponent, and then we're going to put a Luffy on the board. So we have the Rayquazas for later in case we need them. I think this is going to be the best option here, though. We're going to swing in for 5 and 6. We don't really need the counter at the moment. We're going to lose our board, and we know that, but that's why we're continuing to put more bodies on the board. So deploy a card, deploy Monkey D. Luffy, and pass. We are completely bricked up. If they play like any kind of rush option, which obviously I mean they could play 6-cost rush Lucci, that's about it right now. But if they do bust out some kind of crazy rush option, we do just lose because we didn't leave it on active. So maybe we were a little greedy for that, but we definitely need to keep these cards in hand at the moment. So I'm not honestly too upset about it. He's still biting me over here in the corner, in case you're wondering where my hand's at. It's not under the table, beating myself. What? In case you're wondering, my hand's over here just playing with my cat. He is just being very mean. His name's Tizzy. He's not the greatest guy. He's kind of rude, actually. So we're just gonna knock him off the table, and we're gonna let this go very easily. You got it. And they're gonna KO the Lilith. So that's an active character. We're kind of okay with that as well. We have 1 life here. They choose not to. Kind of weird, actually. We can burn their top life and then continue to swing in aggressively. And I think that's exactly what we're gonna do. Use card action, trash the top of our opponent's life. We're gonna just swing in for 5. We're gonna swing in for 5. We're gonna swing in for 6. We're gonna leave none active, which is totally okay. We're here just to kind of do a little damage. Now we could choose to not gain a life, but I think again that just puts us in a worse spot because if they just split their 10 Dawn between the 2 characters, they literally just win. So we have to gain a life in this situation, so we're gonna swing in very aggressively. They play the Bartolomeo, sorry, not Kuma. This is definitely not Kuma. Very, very different characters in the anime. We're gonna add to the top of our life a Rayquaza help and pass. We're gonna draw 1 and trash 1. We get a Shaka. So the cool thing is we can counter it with Shaka, take this, and then get to bring the Shaka out as a blocker instead. So if they do try to have some kind of cheeky little thing going on, we still have a Vegapunk in the life as well. or I mean in the trash, so if they swing our face at all, we're still really chilling. They don't really have a way to clear all of our board right now. They could 10-drop Kuzan here, getting -5 to the Luffy, KO the Luffy, rest Jack, KO Kid, swing in for 5 into Nami, and try to remove our board that way. Then we can counter out of this, then we split between our 2 characters, and then still just gain a life so our opponent doesn't have the tempo, or we can put a body on the board if they do drop a 10-drop Kuzan. So a lot of fun options here if our opponent plays certain ways. So 10-drop Kuzan, KOs, then makes this -5. They rest the Jack to KO this, draw 1, trash 1, gets filled to the hand. They're just going to draw 1, trash 1 off the rip to get the Lilith. They're looking for something here apparently. So they get to pop the Lilith here, which is a good option for our Lucci player. They drop the Kuzan to have some more counter in hand, of course. And then now we just have to see what they decide to do. You don't have Gecko Moria anymore, so not as many options, and I love that. I'm so happy that they don't have Gecko Moria. That card was just such an annoying option for this deck, and it really just kind of ruined the game for me, like many times. So we have some good options though, because what we can actually do is please save me, play out Vegapunk, block with Vegapunk, please save me, Vegapunk, block with Vegapunk, and we have a full board again. So we're going to put our opponent in a very bad position. If they choose to go for clearing board, we're still in a very safe spot that we don't have to worry, because we can empty out our whole hand. We'll still have up to at least 2 blockers out of the Vegapunk and whatever this life is, and we'll have the shock on the board. And even after that, we'll still have you know, the option of whatever the Vegapunk actually grabs. So our opponent's very indecisive right now, trying to decide what to do. We put on pure aggression here, cleared the board perfectly. You need to find these Namis and Luffys to help against the Lucci matchup, and hope they don't run the Spandine package, which a lot don't in the current format. Spandine package basically just destroys Vegapunk, because you can bring it out so easily, very consistently finding your Rebekahs. Yeah, not very fun for us. So this is definitely going to be an interesting finish here. They choose to play it on that 10-drop Kuzan, just like I said. They could have removed the Eustace Captain Kid at this point, but obviously they didn't. So kind of a misplay in my personal opinion. We're going to go ahead and counter out of this swing pretty easily here, just to make sure we don't die. And then we're going to swing in for 11, and then if they take that, we'll just go 11, and then we will, actually we could go, what, 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so 11, 12. I should have attached that Dawn first, but I need to swing the Nami in case they do run Finger Gun. So that's why we're doing it exactly how we are, because we've already misplayed. Whoops, we were supposed to swing 11 with Nami and then 12 with Kid, but hey, we did it backwards. That's okay. Even if they can get out of it, we just gain a life here, and we're chilling. Out of the top of life, please save me. We did just misplay that. We draw 1, trash 1. We're chilling. That was just a simple misplay on my part. Legit, I should have done 11, 12. I did it backwards. Brain farted. Literally, we just won the game because I don't think he had the extra counter. Even if he did, he has to go for game very soon, and we're in a very safe spot. I think he doesn't have to go for game because technically our leader doesn't have any, you know, we're out of resources here, 100%, and they have the Jack on the board. If they get another Jack on the board, they kind of just, they win the game, actually. Because every single turn, Jack KOs a character, Jack KOs a character, and then they still have a 10 and a 5. Our leader can't swing. We don't have the rush option in hand. We need to top deck a very good card, being Porcus D Ace, and they just play around that by playing down a blocker on the board. They don't have to swing our face. They don't really see the out just yet, I don't think, but they can easily pop the Kid and then swing into the Nami and then choose not to swing us or play out a blocker, and they know they're safe there. We could also, if they play out a blocker and they do things incorrectly, we just play out Nami, discard Atlas, KO the blocker, draw 1 card, filter through the deck, and then put everything on our leader. Don't put everything on the leader. Do not put everything on the leader. If you do that, you just lose the game because you have no more Dawn to do anything. So I don't know. I'm enjoying this matchup. That was literally just a misplay on my part. I should have done 11, 12. I literally just didn't think about it because you need to swing the Nami first, and I meant to swing 11 with Nami, but it is what it is. It is whatever. We just let this go here. No way to save it because they have 2 more swings coming in. We don't want to lose our hand size because we need to get more resources in hand, to be honest with you guys, so that we can really spam out the board sometime soon. They could just swing 10 into it and call it a day there. They play down Lucci. They give -1 here. They play down Lucci, return 3 cards, KO the character. They didn't have to put their Jack sideways, which I guess is okay. You know, like I'm not upset about it, but I think holding that Lucci for later in case you needed more removal, in case we could spam out the board here, would probably be your best option. But I guess they can swing us, and they think that the Please Save Me will save them. Yeah, so we're just going to go all out here. We're going to play this down. We're going to grab a Luffy. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. Yeah. We have to put 3 bodies on the board here, so that's exactly what we're going to do. We're literally just deploying 3 cards because they only have way to remove 1 at the moment. And we leave the 1 Dawn active in case we want to use the Please Save Me for these instead. and we should still be safe here. We should genuinely still be safe because they can swing in for 6 hits. We play Vegapunk. Vegapunk plays out, you know, another blocker or another character. We don't have to discard a card, not that we could anyways, because no cards in hand. But then we have a blocker. We block out of the next swing. We take the next life. We Vegapunk again. We block out of that swing, and then they have to use the Jack to KO a character. We should just be good here. Honestly, I think we just win. Now they have 2 Jacks. Now we still win, though. Fun fact. Unless they have a Brook in hand. Genuinely, if they just top decked a Brook, they can win. That's really what it comes down to. Because they get to filter twice, so we need to just hope they don't find a 3-cost character that has removal, which would be Brook. We already see 2 in trash. So, and we saw 1 early go to the bottom of the deck thanks to Lucci. So as long as they haven't filtered that much through the deck, they should only have 1 more total. If they got it, they got it. You know, like there's not much you could do in a situation like this. Literally, if you just top deck it, they're whatever. Like there's nothing you can do in that situation. That's GG's. They were gonna rest it down, get a Suru, discard the Suru. We still had a body on the board, swinging in very aggressively at our opponent. We were gonna get Vegapunk to play out. Actually, it looks like possibly nothing. But yeah, and then we're going to Vegapunk again, and then play out Edison, draw 2, trash 2, literally trashing the 2 cards, play Lilith, and then we still have a full board. GG's to the Lucci player. That was still a close match, even after we played it so good, other than the 11-12 swing, and it shows they had the Khalifa, so more than likely they probably had the counter, but if they didn't, still, I don't know. I'm rambling on about this matchup. Red Green Smoker for our final matchup of the Vegapunk day. National Vegapunk Day, as they say. And we're going second, so we'll keep this because we can Lilith and play a character on our 4-Dawn turn, so we'll keep this. I always like to find a 3-cost character when we do go second. That's very important for the Vegapunk matchups. So we can actually go Monkey Luffy first turn, swing in for 6, and then probably pop whatever character they choose to play out on the next turn. That's going to be my biggest option. So we're going to deploy the Luffy. If we can't swing in with Luffy, that's going to be okay. We still have 1 Dawn active in case we want to counter out. More than likely we won't. They should swing in for 7 here after playing the 3-cost Sanji. Or no, swing in for 5 and then play out the 3-cost Sanji, and then we'll swing in for 6, pop the 3-cost Sanji. They'll get to draw 2 cards after, but that's kind of okay with me at this point, because then we're going to develop a Lilith and then develop another body that we search up off the Lilith. If they choose to play like 3 Vergos, we're going to go Vegapunk early. Obviously, that's very unlikely, but if we did see something like that, I would lose my mind. All my marbles would be gone. My marbles would be just away. I'm excited to see what the Smoker player chooses to do here. They do play down with 1 Vergo, so we know they at least have 1 option on the board. Maybe they want to, you know, kind of mitigate our Luffy's ability to kind of swing in very proactively. I want them to swing in at us. They grab Kamakura Joe Sushi. That's going to be a 5k counter, plus 3 as a counter event, plus 3,000 power, and then minus 2,000 to a character for the turn. So it gives the minus 2,000 for the turn, plus 3,000 for the battle. Very important stuff to know right there. They do play down Monet. Now they can rest Monet, put 2 Dawn on the character. We're going to go ahead and pop that Monet so they don't get any value out of it. So they should probably go in and cash in, but they choose not to. They also choose not to swing us, so this is a very good player. We're going to swing in for 6 here at our opponent. We are going to pop Monet. They don't want us to pop something else, but I don't really want them swinging into our Luffy. I'd rather them swing our life, and obviously they're not going to. And Luffy will replace itself. So we're gonna go with Lilith first. Look at the top of the deck. We're gonna go ahead and grab a Shaka here. I think Shaka is gonna be a good option. And then we're going to trash the Luffy to pop the Monet and draw an additional card. And then we're gonna deploy a card and play out another Luffy and then pass. So the Luffys are just super strong in this position because we can go ahead and cash in on it next turn before they can get to their 7-Dawn turn to play Ben Beckman. That's my biggest goal here. They do play down the Smoker. This is where we need Nami specifically, and we haven't found it just yet. So we don't have a way to remove Smoker. They get to restand 3 Dawn here, and then they can either choose to swing in or play down a 3-cost body. If they play down a 3-cost body, we will use our Monkey D. Luffy and then KO that little character, hopefully finding an Nami sometime soon, but more than likely not. We will also have some strong 5 to 6 or 6 Dawn plays here because we can tap 5 to play a character, tap 1 to play another character. If they play 2 bodies, we will go Vegapunk next turn, but that won't find us our Nami, sadly. They swing 5 at us. We're going to go ahead and take, use that trigger. We're going to discard Frankie and KO the Smoker. Really good stuff for us. Perfect trigger, exactly what we needed, and sometimes you just find it. They have 3 Dawns still left, so they could tap 3 here to play something. We're still looking for another Nami because they could easily play down another Smoker, but they had to play it in that order to actually restand the Dawn. That is the only issue with the Smoker leader ability, and it looks like that's not what they're going to do here. So what we're going to do is swing in pretty proactively. They still have Kamakura Joe Sushi, so we may just swing very heavy on one character, probably not the Luffy, just to kind of beat that out of them at the moment. We may just go 7 with Lilith here. The reason we're swinging Lilith is because we want to have our Luffy on the board in case they play on a 4-cost Chopper. I at least want to utilize some value out of it because I'm assuming they're going to Kamakura Joe Sushi here. Just to go ahead and use it while they have the extra Dawn. Exactly. So they'll give +3 and then -2 on the Luffy. Giving -2 on the Lilith was actually incorrect. That shows me they want us to swing in with the Luffy. So possibly we will go ahead and cash in on a little value out of the Luffy, just getting the swing in case they play a Ben Beckman down. And then we're going to tap 3 for Lilith, and then 1 for whatever we find off Lilith, more than likely, because, I mean, we could go Atlas at this point. I don't think Atlas is as strong, so probably not going for that. I would love to find a Nami here, and we do find a Nami. That's going to be very important for later in the matchup. We put 2 2Ks at the bottom out of the, like, 5 we play. We're going to go and deploy a Shaka here to get a blocker on the board and pass. I could have gone Vegapunk, but I don't really feel like discarding a card with this small hand size, especially with how our opponent's playing. So they could straight up just go for lethal here, playing a 7-cost Hody Jones, rest both our characters, and just say you got it or you don't, and they would not have it. So I'd be kind of okay with that. That's exactly what they're going to do here, or they're going to go for clearing our board. If they go for clearing the board, I'm okay with that as well. They get to restand 2 Dawn here, swing in 7 and 8. We'll probably take, like, stupidly take. They may go 6 into Luffy here, which I'd also just, or 8 into Luffy, I'm okay with that. And they're gonna go 7 to Lilith, which I think is the best option. If they go 5, I think that's incorrect, but I understand they are trying to leave 2 active. We're gonna go and give them the Atlas from hand because we're at the same life, so it doesn't have as much value here as we would like. And now we're kind of chilling. So we do have the Egghead to restand some characters. We should probably, I don't think removal is gonna be good, but filtering the hand may be good. I'm not against playing out. I think that's a little too late for the stage here. I think we're just going to swing in small to really get less value out of the Kamakura Sushi here. And I think we're going to leave the blocker active. We're going to play out the Vegapunk. We're going to add 1 Dawn to the top of our life. We're really just trying to get value out of, or lower their value out of Kamakura Sushi right now, forcing them to leave active Dawn in the future. And we're going to keep this Nami in hand because we need to keep it in case they play down a freaking Vicious Captain Kid. We are going to swing in for 6 here as well, just because we do have the Egghead stage and we know we're going to play it here, so that's going to be very good for us. And then we're going to tap, yep, they go and use the Kamakura Sushi, getting way less value out of it. So we're going to tap 5, then we're going to tap 5 for Vegapunk to play out Vegapunk, which is going to play out Shaka, so we at least have tons of blockers on the board. And then we have to trash a card, which is going to be a 2K counter. We're going to add a card to the top of our life, which is going to be Rayquaza help. We're going to pass with the blocker active, and if they swing us, we get to cheat out more bodies. If they choose not to, we still have blockers on the board, so very safe here. They choose to play it on a 5-cost Smoker, and now we know we're not worried about them going for lethal, so we should be very safe here. This is actually a good spot for them to swing our life rather than our board. If they play down the Smoker or the Tashigi that we can't clear out the Smoker, they may leave Dawn active for, oh, they choose to leave no Dawn active, just play a blocker on the board. They only have 2 cards in hand. I think this is not just guaranteed lethal. They have a 5 and an 8, so I guess we can counter out. I guess we could, this only saves green characters. We can just remove the blocker for 1 Dawn. I think we let Lilith go, and then we just block out with the Rayquaza help with the Hody Jones, because we have the Rayquaza to help with this later, and then we can pop the blocker, right? Tap 1, pop the blocker, and then just a bunch of 7s. Deploy a card, Nami, trash, KO, draw a card. We draw into another Nami, which is good, but it's not what we need at the moment. They don't have another blocker, so I guess we just swing in for 7 at our opponent. We should be good here, because if they can counter out, they have to give us both cards from hand, and then we can just go 5 and 5,000. Yeah, and then we just swing all out. Straight up 14 is guaranteed lethal on the Smoker. GG's to our opponent. That's going to be the end of the game. The Namis are amazing. They had a double Sanjis and a Please You Can Be My Samurai, which is a very interesting tech card for the deck. Do they have any other interesting tech cards? Anything we want to try out? I guess the Rayleigh is kind of interesting. I kind of vibe with that. Yeah, not really. Not too many kids either, which I think you need kid in the current format, in my personal opinion. They were playing the Mocha, I think her name is, which just gives minus like 2K to a character on play or something like that. But yeah, it's your usual Smoker build. Other than that, I think we just kind of showed that's how you win the game, because that's what Vegapunk does, and that's what we do on the channel, is just win. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Well, that's going to be it for today's Vegapunk day. I really enjoyed this day because I love Vegapunk. I always enjoy playing Vegapunk, so if you enjoy that, join the channel by liking, subscribing, leaving a comment. It helps me so much, pushing the algorithm and pushing my content a lot more for other people to find just like you. So genuinely, please continue supporting. I love you so much. I'll see you in the next one, in the next dope profile, or whatever you guys come up with for us to do next. We'll definitely do it. See you in the next one. Peace.